Good morning, the places. Welcome to LNTV News Live, 30 minutes of other news from Liberia and elsewhere. My name is Maxwell Johnson, presenting on the first day of April 2020. In our top stories, Ministry of Education extends closure of all schools until further notice from the Ministry of Health. Health authorities to shortly begin a rigorous testing exercise to contain the spread of the coronavirus in Masarauco County. Grand Crew County Representative Funati Kofa warns senators put personal issues aside when considering presidential nominees. These stories plus more. And away from home now, Ethiopia, that's the Ethiopia Electoral Board postponed August highly anticipated general election because of the coronavirus epidemic. We now take a quick break and we'll come back and bring you the details of these stories and many more. Welcome back to LNTV News Live. We'll take this story. The Ministry of Education has announced that schools remain closed across the country until further notice. The ministry's previous announcement of March 31 has since expired. The ministry maintained that at this crucial time, the Ministry of Health and the National Public Health Institute, MPhil, are the lead decision makers as to the health of Liberia citizens. Meanwhile, the MOE said the pre-opening of school will be predicated upon a declaration and advice from MPhil and the Ministry of Health. The ministry really called on students, parents, and guardians, as well as education stakeholders, to observe all preventive measures and protocols from MPhil and the Ministry of Health.
Today, we want to report to you that with all of the continued engagement from the President and from the advice the President has received from the health team and people who's been very focused on this pandemic, there's been report that every country needs to continue the testing exercise. The President and the Ministry of Health and other good partners to this government have secured some very huge number of testing kits. Those emergency health supplies, I'm told, have arrived in the country. Next week, the government of Liberia and of course the President engagement with the seriousness of this pandemic will be going through vigorous testing exercise in the country. There will be testing stations across the city carried out by trained health practitioners to know our status as citizens of the country, as visitors who are staying in the country, and of course putting us in readiness of whatever situation that others are experiencing in the world. One of the venues identified that will be very engaging will be the Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex in Painesville. That facility will be used by the health team in the next few days, taking us to next week for vigorous testing. The Ministry of Health and the MPhil team will further elaborate on that in their subsequent press briefing.
That was Deputy Presidential Press Secretary Smith Toby talking about a pending rigorous exercise to be carried out in Masarauco County and across the country. In another development, Mr. Toby has announced the suspension of the investigation into alleged brutality against journalists due to the coronavirus outbreak.
I'm aware that the PUL and members of the Press Union of Liberia and other independent media institutions took to the street a few weeks back, and they petitioned the government to look into claim and counterclaim of security brutality against members and some members of the press. The president, in his quest, also set up a committee to work along with the PUL. The president committee was accepted by the PUL, and the PUL also set up another working committee. But due to the coronavirus situation that is putting a lot of things around the world and happenings around the world to a standstill, the committee has also requested that their investigation will commence on April the 15th. They've been taking all the preventive measure, and so having a committee of 6 and 5, and the actors of the committee have said that their work will commence on April the 15th, and they are expected to report to the office of the president after 21 days.
As a way of addressing the lack of commodities on the local market in Bahunlofa County, District Number 4 Representative Mariam Fofana had disclosed a pending stakeholder meeting in the county. Representative Fofana says the meeting is intended to suggest ways among stakeholders from Liberia and neighboring Sierra Leone on the way forward in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak.
In addition to the challenge of the rule also, as you know, Vahun is one of the remotest part of Liberia in terms of accessibility with, car, the road is very bad. It has started raining there already. So yes, the correspondent was very correct, but we are trying to meet with our border crossing people. I think I have recommended yesterday that we as a caucus get to meet with the Justice Minister, the Immigration and the Custom people to see how best we all can arrange, discuss the safety of the border at the same time considering our people, need to have essential goods and market in their various places.
How soon do you intend to hold this meeting?
Well, I am going to be, I already spoke with Honorable Judy Fatoma, who is the representative of Vahun district. Yesterday, she and I appeared on a radio talk show, and I recommended that suggestion. She welcomed that. And together today, when we meet, we will be able to discuss all the details as to, the people that will be involved in that meeting, so that we can sit down with the appropriate authority.
Grand Crew County Representative Fonati Kofa wants Liberian senators to put personal issues aside when conducting confirmation hearing for presidential nominees. Councillor Kofa said why committee members have their right to reject or accept nominees, they must always take the greater good of the country into consideration. He was speaking in an ELBC interview regarding the ongoing confirmation saga of nominees appointed to the National Elections Commission.
Fairness to the Senate, each position is different, right?
But everything is about
each position is different, so they look at it differently. But the particular one that look at it differently in this time now, we're talking about neck, right? Yes. Everybody think that, my man, you establish, you put somebody there, and they're going to do this and do that for you. Look, remember when Councillor Kokoya was appointed as chairman of NEC. Yeah. What was the debate then? Yeah, he had run in the United Party election in 2011, yeah. And 2012 was appointed, yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay, so that was the issue then. We were all in the opposition and we were making that noise too. So look, part of the process is, and part of the due diligence process, the advice and consent process, is going to be not necessarily smooth. The opposition is going to raise King. They will object, they will oppose every nominee that the president has if you give them the opportunity. My only thing is, it's their right. But I draw the line at discrimination.
Some of the critics are saying the president should have consulted or was supposed to do a roundtable consultation before making an appointment at the National Election Commission.
But who say he didn't? I mean, is the president supposed to do it on Facebook? I mean, you don't know what his processes were. I don't think the president woke up in the morning and just decided that, okay, you'll go and announce this name. Okay, I'm sure there was some consultation going on.
Indeed, if you just joined us, a reminder you're watching LNTV News Live, 30 minutes of all the news from Liberia and elsewhere. My name is Maxwell Johnson. In our top story this morning, Ministry of Education extends closure of all schools until further advice from the Ministry of Health. Health authorities will shortly begin the rigorous testing exercise to continue the spread of coronavirus in Monserrate County. Grand Crow County Representative Funati Kofa wants senators put personal issues aside with considering presidential nominees. Away from home, Ethiopia's electoral board postpones August's highly anticipated general election because of the coronavirus pandemic. We're taking a short break to be right back. Welcome back to the news. Liberian history tells us that Momolu Dwalu Bakeli in the 19th century invented the scripted divide trap based on a dream, something the Vai people are now using for written communication. Now, a 30-year-old Liberian, Elijah Marshall, says a kind of herb which he believed can cure COVID-19 was revealed to him in a dream since March 2017. Marshall wants government and health authorities provide him the opportunity to experiment the herb on people infected with the coronavirus.
Let's just say you boil it. The other one is shower, which is in the plastic. Let's just say you can bathe with this. I kept it 3 days time. These are all ones they took it away. Let's just say this one for bathing. Let it slip it. You use it to bathe with. Let us say this for bathing. After you squeeze it in the water, the person will bathe with the cold water. They will use it on it. Then later they will go and sit under the blanket for this to be applied now for the heating. After they are heated themselves with this, then they will drink some of this. Using the therapy for 1 week. Every morning they apply it. Every day they should be applied until that 1 week period. Then the sickness, President said it is the cure for the sickness. Since 2017, they told me I shared the vision with people. I want the public to come, that we can exercise this on those that are affected right now as experimental drugs. I want health authority to join me in the fight against corona, that we can apply this therapy on those that are affected as a trial drugs.
Liberians have been urged to do away with denial the country will successfully contain the coronavirus. Assistant Youth and Sports Minister for TVET, Malaya Sharif, reminded Liberians that the Ebola virus ravaged Liberia due to denial. Speaking to reporters as he prepared to dispatch sanitary material, including hand-washing buckets, soap to Grand Cape County.
We have thought it wise to buttress government's effort to see how best we can come strongly against the existence of the particular virus. As it stands, we have had a revelation of 3 cases, and Ebola, the coronavirus is very rare, and I don't want us to dwell in the mistake that we had when Ebola ravaged this particular land. The issue of unbelievability or denial was one thing that totally got our people their lives destroyed. So as it stands, the fact that we are contributing towards government effort, we also want to reveal that it is important that our people take the necessary precautionary measures that will enhance their own safety. The virus is real. The virus is killing people around the world, and Liberia is...
Two orphanages in Masrada and Margibi have benefited from the donation of food and non-food items provided by the Alternative National Congress, the ANC, the Christ Our Hope in Monrovia, and the Children Future Program in Kakata, Margibi County on Tuesday received rice, vegetable oil, tar soap, and chloride from the ANC.
It's my honor to be here with you today. We wanted to come to make this small contribution to your orphanage. We know you're taking care of many kids. We know times are difficult, they are challenging. The economy of our country is struggling. And then with this coronavirus issue, we know it adds even more pressure, more challenges to what you're trying to do here. So on behalf of the ANC, on behalf of the Cummings family, we wanted to make this small contribution of some rice, some oil, and some other things, some chloride, for the young people here and for those who help to manage them, to supervise them, because they represent the future of Liberia. And I want to thank you personally. I want to thank all of you in leadership for what you're doing for our children. And again, this is a small contribution to help feed these young people, to help feed the future of Liberia. There's no other agenda item. I'm glad we're all recognizing social distance. I'm glad we didn't bring all the children out, only a few of them. So thank you for what you're doing to keep them safe. And I hope the leadership of the county here and people of Kakata, please.
Meanwhile, receiving the items, the administrator of the Children Future Program, Samuel Winnie, thanked Mr. Cummings for their items.
I want to thank Honorable Kumi and his team for this gesture. You know, when I look at the item he brought, when he said it was small, I started thinking, I know the day the big one will come, it will not be easy, because it is small can be like this. Where the big one is, I know the day will come, and we are looking at the time that big one will come. So once more, I want to thank him very much for thinking about us in such a time, because these are a struggling time where they will say you must go indoor and you don't have food. But at least when you are indoor, you have food. At least the virus will not kill you and hunger will not kill you. But where you are indoor and there is no food.
Several residents in the Matadi community have benefited from the donation of several hand washing buckets, rice, and several other disinfectants. The materials were donated Sunday by Assistant Youth and Sports Minister for Administration, Madam Famata Briswell.
So I thought it was to come back to my people. Being a minister, I appreciate the President of the Republic of Liberia for appointing me to serve my people and my country at last. So I thought it was to buttress government effort, national government effort, is to come back to my roots and to know these items to help prevent the coronavirus from spreading from our country and to educate our people about the virus. I think you saw in there somebody was coughing among people. He didn't know that when you are coughing, you should get a tissue to your mouth or the paper towel.
Receiving the materials on behalf of the community was Richard Sindolo.
We highly appreciate our daughter coming back, recognizing us through our brethren that we all live together and grow together. For matter, I will say thank you. You are right necessary. There is not a political matter. It's about human life. Where we can get help from. Where the white people, when we have Ebola, where we are looking up to for people to come, people can die there. For all now, we feel that we are nothing. So, but if you are coming to our court this time, we take this time to tell you thank you. Very much. At least, we can see you today to bring the item for us. So we had.
A day after all makeshift structures were demolished in the commercial hub of Waterside in central Monrovia, a new market building is shortly to be constructed by marketers in the area. President George Weah is underwriting the cost of the project. Making a disclosure at the news conference Monday, Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Kochi said a team of surveyors is carrying on a survey to commence the project.
Let now removing the structure in front of the various stores and clear the pathway should misconstrue for them not to be selling. No, we do not say they should not sell. That action was here on two means. One, to observe the social distancing, which means when they come back to serve, they will be selling in a way that will be a demarcation. And that's why, in fact, we're in the process of doing that. The city government purchased X amount of things. We were going to start painting the various places and placing them, and we're going to have lines around them because the way the structure was being congested, there is a likelihood that will be a way an outbreak or an outbreak come out. There will be people that will be responsible. The leadership of 1.7 million people will be asking us, what did we do when we were seated in such a capacity? So the best thing I can say to you, we must ensure the safety of these people. Even though those decisions will be very difficult to do, but we will not get the fact for us to be very firm to do it.
Since the government of Liberia announced the first confirmed case of the coronavirus outbreak in Liberia, many communities have been putting measures in place to stop the virus. The Shuffling Township is one of those communities buttressing government effort to halt the COVID-19 virus through a task force. Anthony Brown is a commissioner of the township.
From the time the government gave us the measure or gave the order that the two counties have been quarantined, Margibi and Mosurado, we have been going on the field, making sure to go to our people to give them that awareness of them keeping themselves safe from this virus. We are going to the extent of sharing materials with them to keep them going through the process. We have established a team also called the Shuffling Township Task Force for COVID-19, and we are making sure to every community, to individual, to houses, business people, to get them with the information.
How effective is the task force?
Oh, they are very much effective every day on the field, and they are going in homes. We are going to close to 1,000 homes in the township.
Are the people hearing the message? Are they responding well?
Of course, they are responding.
For their part, some members of the task force demonstrated their awareness carried out in the community.
Around the Shuffling Township, we are initiating this. We've been around helping our people, sensitizing them how to wash their hands. It is about our safety, and together we can keep COVID-19 out of Liberia and this township. Thank you.
As one of the officials of the team, I want to extend our greeting to our people. We encourage them that this disease is real, because people still have the doubt that it is not real, and we are always getting harder. As you can see, we are the task force.
The Liberian National Red Cross Society has presented hair washing buckets and 2 thermometers to the Liberia Broadcasting System. The items, according to the National Red Cross Communications Manager O'Neill Bestment, is to help employees of the system work along with the guidelines on COVID-19 prevention.
Of the management and staff and the board of the Liberia National Red Cross, we are happy to be here today to make this small donation. As you may be aware, Liberia is responding to the coronavirus 2019, and the issue of preventive measure has to be taken seriously. Preventive measure is not an option; it's a real demand that everyone, the public, member of the public, have to comply to, and we stick to all the health protocols and the various measures that have been put in place. So, as a means of complementing the government effort as an auxiliary to the public authority, we are come to make this small presentation on behalf of the institution. 30 hand washing buckets, 30 hand washing buckets, 2 thermometers. We could use it for the purpose as necessary in the fight. Because
receiving the items, LBS Human Resource Director Washington Blackie thanked the Red Cross Society for the gesture.
We appreciate this so highly, As a matter of fact, this is the way we all have to supplement our effort to ensure that this virus is kicked out of this country. On behalf of the management and staff of this great institution, we appreciate it. We say thank you. Say to your donor, thank you. We will ensure that they are used for the intended purpose. We appreciate it so highly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bucky.
As part of efforts to fight the deadly coronavirus in Liberia, Montserrat County District 3 Representative C.B. Bashel has donated 35 bags of 25 kg rice and assorted sanitary materials to the Community Watch Forum in the district. Making the donation Monday on behalf of the representative, District 3 Field Supervisor Moses Laman also disclosed that his boss will give 38 acres of farmland to the Watch Forum shortly to enhance their farming activities.
Today, member of the President of the State, we have called you in witnessing of through our national health emergency. As a country, we want to take this time to still identify with the Community Watch Forum of Liberia, giving them over 25 bags of rice, buckets with some sanitary material through the office of Honorable C.B. Bashir, Representative District Number 3. And we are also in line again, encourage and promise them that we're going to pay for 38 acres of land that will be used for the Community Watch Forum of Liberia.
Receiving the items, Montserrat County District 3 Watch Forum Coordinator David Small thanked Representative Bashir for the gesture.
We also tell C.B. Bashir thank you for what he has been doing for us for the past years. Even before he became a lawmaker, he did extremely well for us. He just came on our occasions and said he was going to give us 35 bags of rice with a bucket for us to wash our hands and other things, stationery. Other things will be coming forth. So we also appreciate him because he has been doing well, and he's also doing it more than what he think he can.
Briefly off the home front now, Ethiopia's electoral body has postponed August's highly anticipated general election because of the COVID pandemic. The board said a new schedule could be announced once the threat of the pandemic was over. It said much of its planning had been hit by the disruption caused by coronavirus, such as obtaining election materials on time and training staff. Voters' registration has been due to begin in April, and political parties who have commenced their campaign late in May. The election will be the first since Prime Minister and Nobel Prize winner Abiy Ahmed came to office in 2018. He has carried out wide-ranging reforms over the last 2 years. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the end of this edition of LNTV News Live. Before we go, a recap of stories that made headline this morning. Ministry of Education extends closure of all schools until further advice from the Ministry of Health. Health authorities will shortly begin a rigorous testing exercise to contain the spread of the coronavirus in Montserrat County. Grand Crew County Representative Fonati Kofa warns senators put personal issues aside when considering presidential nominees. And of the home front, Ethiopia's electoral board postpones August's highly anticipated general election because of the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you so much for viewing. Thanks to our editors and reporters for making this edition a success. Thanks to Sekou Kroma and his team at Top FM in Zwedru, Grand County for relaying our news and public affairs program. On behalf of the entire news team, I've been your presenter, Maxwell Johnson. Let us take you join us on our update at 12, 2, and 4, or join us tonight for our news bulletin. On behalf of the team, I'll be your presenter. Have a very good day from Pittsfield.
Hello, I'm Mildred Dean. I'm here to tell you today about the coronavirus and also to tell you how to keep healthy and safe. Schools are now closed for a reason. Government closed the schools for your protection. The coronavirus is real. At home, you must continue to follow all the guidelines given to you by the government, the guidelines given to you by the Ministry of Health, and most important, also follow the guidelines that mom and dad give you at home. Stay home, keep healthy and safe. To keep healthy and safe, hand washing is very, very important. Wash your hands with soap and water many times during the day. Don't get tired. Wash your hands. Wash your hand with soap and water for at least 21 seconds. When you're washing your hand, make it easy and just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you put the soap on your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you wash between your fingers. Wash your hands in and out, rub them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you're done 21 seconds. The coronavirus can make you sick. And remember, while home, don't forget your lessons. You have to keep learning and studying. Do you have homework? If yes, do your homework. If you're finished, review the homework to make sure that it is correct. If no, read a book and go over your lessons. I'll come back again. I'm Mildred Dean, your open-air classroom teacher. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.